Hello, welcome to June reviews. Here we are. Oh my goodness, we're over halfway through 2024. Mad. I've got my laptop, I've got my tea, we're ready to go. If you're new here, hello, by the way, my name's Raquel, and I need to change my channel name because everyone thinks my name is Kelly, and it's not, and I can see why they would think that. And every month I do a wrap up of everything I've consumed, shall we say, and whether or not I've enjoyed it. Usually it's mostly just things I've enjoyed and what I thought about it and what I'd recommend, that kind of thing. For the record, for those of you who are not new and have been around for a few months already, this tea is still the tea that I got from Sam, and it's with the honey that I got from Sam as well, and it's so good. Anyway, let's go. I'm gonna start with a movie, and that is Oppenheimer. I actually started watching Oppenheimer, I think back in April. We watched the first half, and then we never got around to watching the second half, except we did in June. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, what is there to say about a film that's got, you know, like 100 Oscars, but it was brilliant. It was excellent. Next, for TV shows, I've got 3. Number 1 is Taskmaster season 16. Again, I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes many months ago, but we finally finished watching it and I really enjoyed it. I love Taskmaster anyway. I was first introduced to it probably about 2 or 3 years ago now, which is crazy. Actually, maybe even more, maybe closer to 4 years ago. Anyway, there have been some seasons where I watch it and there's 1 or 2 people that annoy me or that I don't really like, or not that I don't like, but I just don't get a good feeling from, or that their energies just don't blend very well, or that one's being a bit rude to the others, etc, etc. There's all those kinds of things. And in this season, I really felt everyone, I just enjoyed watching everyone and it was great. Next, we watched Baby Reindeer, and I originally thought this was the show, I think it's called Sweet Tooth, and because it's also got a reindeer, I think. But it was not at all. It was a short 1-series TV show about a real life story from a stalker, or about a stalker, sorry, written and acted by the person it happened to. And it was mental. I mean, it was an awful story, but it wasn't even like I felt I could feel bad for the lead character, the person it was happening to, which is mad. Like, it's so crazy. And you do sympathize, I found anyway, a little bit with the stalker. Not totally, but definitely a little bit. And it was just, it was so interesting, and I would definitely recommend it if you like true crime. And finally, Jessica Jones season 3. We finally finished watching it. We finished all the non-Disney Marvel things. Again, if you're new, for the last few years, I've been trying to watch all the Marvel things, and apparently Disney recently said that they're going to introduce Daredevil, so we had to go back and watch all the Daredevil and spin-off shows, and we finally finished it. And initially, in the season 1s of all of them, Jessica Jones was probably my favourite, maybe tied with Daredevil. And season 3, I really enjoyed. There was one character arc I really didn't, and I was hoping it would swing the other way, and it didn't, which made me sad, but I thought it was very cool. And I think even if you're not so much into the superhero Marvel-y stuff, I do think you could watch Jessica Jones and still enjoy it without needing to enjoy, because it's not that superhero-y compared to a lot of others anyway. I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. Next, I've got 2 books. In May, I started reading, I think it was May, the City of Bones series, The Mortal Instruments, and in June, I read 2 more, City of Ashes and City of Glass, both by Cassandra Clare. I really enjoyed both. I don't feel I can remember very much from City of Ashes. City of Glass I do remember, and it was very good, but I feel like City of Ashes I've kind of forgotten about. Or maybe I'm blending it together with the first, I don't know. But anyway, would recommend them. They're very sort of young adult, supernatural fiction. Is supernatural the right word? I think so. Like, I could see why you wouldn't want to read it, but equally I could see why you would. If you like, you know, Percy Jackson or even Harry Potter, I think this would be a good, if you're wanting something in a similar vein, this would maybe be the one to go for. I don't know. Next, I have one play, which I saw live in London, and it's Boys from the Black Stuff. And I knew nothing about this. I knew that it had good reviews, but I really didn't know even much about the play or anything like that. Like, I hadn't heard that much about it. But I went to see it with my mum and my grandma, and we all really enjoyed it. It was very moving, very powerful, very well done. All the elements were great. The set, the actors, the design, the lighting, the movement, everything. And it was interesting. It's historical fiction, which I like in any format anyway. I'm a huge fan of historical fiction, but it's very much based in truth. And I just thought it was very well done, and sad, but very well done. Next, I've got 3 musicals. I was very lucky to see 3 musicals this month. I always get to see more shows when my mum or any family member comes and visits because that's what you do in London. So the first one I got to see, which is one that's been on my list for a very, very long time, was Operation Mincemeat. I have heard incredible things about this since it first opened, whenever it was. And initially I wasn't sure about it, and I think in part I had heard all these amazing things and I just wasn't seeing that translated. But as it went on, I did think it was brilliant. And I'd love to go see it again. There's a few people I want to bring to it and show it to them. I don't know if I would say it was as good as some other shows I've seen, but it was very good. But I think it's been the most highly reviewed show ever in London, and I don't know if I would agree with that. But it was very good. Next, I went to see Marie Curie the musical, which was very much on a whim. And again, as I said, I like historical fiction. I like learning about history. I like learning about powerful, strong women. And I knew about Marie Curie, but very little about her life or anything like that. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know if the songs necessarily added anything to it, but the story was very strong and the actors were good and the singing was good. And the set and everything was really, really good. So if you can catch it before it closes, I would recommend it. Especially if you like history and learning about people who have made change in the world. And finally, one I have been waiting to see for probably 5.5 years, Next to Normal. I fell in love with Next to Normal, I think it was around October 2018, and just from listening to the cast recording, I believe, or maybe I watched some clips on YouTube, I don't know. And I've been waiting and waiting to see it, and then it came to London last year, but I was away, so I didn't get to see it, and I was so upset especially because I'd heard such amazing things in terms of the reviews. And then it came back, and I finally had a chance to see it, and it was everything I wanted and more. The problem sometimes with having something so hyped up in your head and waiting to see it and waiting is that it could be not as good as you remember or not as good as you expected, but this just blew me away, absolutely blew me away. Go see it. It is rather sad and, not a fun musical necessarily, so if you're looking for fun, I wouldn't go there, but if you're looking for something in the vein of Dear Evan Hansen or even maybe Les Miserables, this is a good one. Very different music though, but well, not from Dear Evan Hansen, but very different from Les Miserables, but very, 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 very good, and I really hope I get to go again. The next one I've put under the music category, but I don't really know what you'd consider it. I went to West End Live again! The last time I went, and the only other time I went, was in 2019, so it's been a while, and it was amazing. It was so, so special. I did vlog it, I think, or at least talk about it. I had an amazing time. I loved it. And one day I want to be on that stage. Next, for food, which is actually a drink, I've got Tango Mango, or Mango Tango, whatever it is. I was first introduced to Tango by a friend a few years ago, and it was mainly Tango Apple, which was incredible. And I was going to visit this friend in June, and just before I went to visit them, I happened to see that there was a special edition Mango Tango, like mango flavoured Tango. Tango is a drink. And I love mango, and I thought they did too, so when I got there, we bought a giant bottle of Mango Tango, and it was so good. It was really, really, really good. I hope it's not just a limited edition, but that it stays. Next, for travel, I've got a few on here, which is surprising. Number 1 is a train service. It's the South Western Railway. It was my first UK train experience. The only other time I've been on a train in the UK, I think, would be Eurostar, which doesn't really count. And it was very pleasant. Although it was very cold because they had the air conditioning blasting. But aside from that, it was very comfortable and I enjoyed the journey. And then I've got 3 specific places in the UK that I went to visit this month. Number 1 is Exeter, and I have to say, I didn't love the people in Exeter that I met. I didn't get a lovely vibe from them, but I liked the place. It seemed like a nice little town, city, whatever you want to call it. Number 2 is Beaconsfield, which we just drove around and it was beautiful. And number 3 is Cookham, which we drove and walked around and again was beautiful. We did go on glorious days, it was very sunny, but it was very nice, very lovely. And that is it. So the only other thing to share is my song of the month. And again, I didn't have something that just sprung out at me. I definitely had to look for this, but I went for The World Is Waiting from The Little Big Things. I think that's what it's called. Because I feel like there were a lot of times in the last month that I was walking to work listening to that specific song. I could be mistaken, but That's what I remember. That is all. Let me know if you have seen or read or heard of these things and what you thought of them. Let me know what some of your favourites or recommendations of the month are. And yeah, have a lovely time. Can you tell I've been on YouTube for 8 years and I'm not awkward at all? Anyway, bye!